Organic eating has increased in popularity over the past few years. Whole Foods markets have been opening their doors in new locations across the country. Organic food has become a $35 billion industry.
I know that there's criticism out there for people that do eat organic. Some people think it's just a hype, but for me, I think it's just better for my body, better for the environment, so that's why I choose organic.
As popular as organic has become, it still faces much criticism from outsiders. But are those criticisms unwarranted, ignorant, or just opinions? We'll delve more into the matter today on this edition of Equal Time. A lot of fluff and connotations surround the word organic. But what is organic really? What is organic agriculture or organic food? Kato Guzman bites into this topic.
Organic eating has become a culture, a lifestyle. As science brings our food further into the world of genetics and modification, some people find themselves preferring natural alternatives to typical store-bought food. But what is organic really? In order to get the coveted organic logo from the United States Department of Agriculture, or the USDA, farmers must follow a 3-year process.
It takes probably 2 years to certify, but in that process you don't pesticide that food. So it takes, they go and they check the land and they check the food and then they certify for it.
This is the USDA definition of organic. Organic agriculture produces products that use certain methods of production that preserve the environment and avoid synthetic materials. This includes avoiding pesticides during the growing of crops, supporting animal health and welfare, and preserving nature and biodiversity. Several steps are necessary in order to become certified organic. First, the farmer submits the application to the USDA. A certifying agent looks over the application, which includes a list of farming methods used and details about the farm. The agent then physically inspects the farm on site. After that, an annual checkup ensures the farms are maintaining organic standards.
It takes long, it takes a lot of water, it takes a lot of process, and it's kind of hard, but it is well done. A lot of people buy it.
Many farmers markets feature locally grown organic fruit and vegetables, but without preservatives, organic foods have a shorter shelf life.
GMO is genetically modified organisms, so foods that have been just genetically modified.
Dao Chan Lai Nguyen is a recent graduate in biology from San Jose State University. She works as a lab analyst at a chemical company.
Well, I've learned in class there's debate on whether GMOs are good for you or it doesn't cause any harm, but I haven't really found any study that has sound proof that it's bad for you, but I just feel safer just not eating it at all.
When we come back, we'll take a closer look into the organic culture and examine whether organic food is worth the extra cost. Welcome back. Now that we know what organic is and we've heard a little bit about the concept, let's take a closer look at a few people that believe wholeheartedly in the organic lifestyle and a few that think organic is all hype and no bite. Once again, Kato Guzman.
Organic eating carries all sorts of baggage. Some consumers complain that prices are a ripoff and call the industry a scam. Others associate the condensation of hipsters and yuppies with all organics, and some just don't care about what they eat.
So when I hear about people talking about organic food, it kind of makes me think of like hippies or hipsters in a sense where it's kind of like they think, I've been at Whole Foods, I worked there for a bit, and I feel like it seems like those people that are there, majority of the time, it seems like they feel like they're at a higher level than other people that don't eat organic.
However, not everybody fits the stereotype of the organic eater. Bao Tran Lai Nguyen tries to eat organic but doesn't consider herself a food snob.
I haven't been criticized to my face about eating organic, but I know that there's criticism out there for people that do eat organic. Some people think it's just a hype, but for me, I think it's just better for my body, better for the environment. So that's why I choose organic, so I don't really mind what people say.
No study from either side of the organic argument definitively proves a difference in health benefits. The studies have proven only that the nutrition in organic food is the same as the nutrition in non-organic food.
Like fruits and vegetables and stuff aren't really proven to have any difference nutritionally from like normal farming products. They're just a lot more like eco-friendly.
But the question is not whether the nutritional value is different. The question is how bad the pesticides are for the people consuming them.
If there was a study that came out proving that fruits that are not organic has not much of a harm on your body, I would still choose organic in the aspect that it helps our environment, it's better for it. It doesn't deplete our soil, it doesn't produce toxic load, and the farmers don't get harmed by having to pick and spray pesticides every day. So I would support organic still.
Although certain chemicals are approved for use with food, some consumers fear that the potential risks are too far down the road to be detectable now.
Yeah, I do watch what my kid eats, but I try not to give him too much sugar. And I don't know too much about the GMOs, but I think if the government lets it happen, then I feed that to my kid. I eat basically fast food every day, microwave dinners almost every day. There are times that I will cook for myself.
The biggest criticism with organic eating is the cost. Many consider the added expense not worth it, but how much more is organic really?
If I have spare money, maybe I'll do organic, but most likely not. I'll be at Safeway since it's more convenient right next to me.
I wouldn't say it's cheaper than conventional shopping, but I think there's ways around it. Buying in bulk. If you go to Costco, you could buy like a big tub of grapes for $7. So you might think $7 is a lot for grapes, but you get for what you pay for.
Nutrition students here at San Jose State learn that there is not enough science to determine which is best between organic and non-organic. Ultimately, what is important is nutritious versus non-nutritious. In class, students are taught that too many people pay too little attention to what they eat.
People who think about what they're putting into their body are obviously thinking about like what the product is versus people who don't really go to the store and like look at the nutrition label and things like that. I think that people who go and like specifically look for certain things are more inclined to eat better.
Of course, to some people,
food is food to me.
When we come back, we'll chew on this topic, a conversation about organic eating. Welcome back to this edition of Equal Time from the brand new high definition television suite in the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State. Today our topic is organic eating. Let's meet our guests.
Hi there, my name is Erick Chong, and I am a graduate student with comparative literature, and I also partake in organic eating.
Hi, my name is Dr. Marjorie Freedman. I'm a professor in the Department of Nutrition, Food Science, and Packaging here at San Jose State.
Thank you all for being here today. This is a golden opportunity to identify, one, what does it mean, organic foods? We see it in all of our stores, we talk about it, and what's the value, and is it healthy? All the different questions, but let's start. Dr. Freedman, you're our resident expert. What does it mean when we label something organic?
I'm glad you asked that, Bob, because the consumer is very confused. However, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has very specific regulations that must be followed before a food receives a seal, the USDA seal. It's a green seal that says organic. And if you look at the USDA website, you will see some of these criteria that must be met. And all farms, for example, that are selling organic produce must be inspected to meet the specified criteria.
But isn't all things that are grown produce coming out of the ground? So what differentiates?
Again, I think that's where the consumer was confused, because an organic, by definition, anything that has carbon is considered organic as containing carbon. However, the USDA says in order to be organic, for example, you cannot use petroleum-based pesticides, or you cannot irrigate your land with treated wastewater, sewage sludge that has been treated. Of course, we're not putting raw sewage into the field, so people again get confused by that.
This also extends to the way that you treat animals, whether you feed them organic, pasture or any other type of food, whether they are allowed to just walk around in free range, as opposed to engage into, like how other corporations they make business out of making food for the general public. So in addition to, like how she said, pesticides that are used in most farm crops to produce and just make a tomato look so big, when in reality it's not supposed to be that big.
Something has inspired it to get that big.
Yeah.
Now, the next question, of course, people would want to know is it healthier? What has your research showed you?
A lot of people, the general consensus seems to be that everybody assumes it's healthier, but a lot of people just don't care to pay the extra money. They think it's just a ripoff and it's a scam. I think the lack of having less chemicals makes it healthier and will probably be less likely to help develop diabetes or cancer in the long run. Because a lot of the stuff that you get in your food, it never leaves your body, or it just creates all these toxins inside of you.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I have to differ with this comment. I've reviewed the literature as a nutrition professional on the nutritional quality of health of organic versus non-organic foods. In fact, one of my graduate students did a study in the laboratory using a refrigerated 100% orange juice that she got in the grocery store, and compared the orange juice from organically grown oranges to non-organically grown oranges. There was absolutely no difference in the vitamin C content. Now, every plant that you grow and you measure, whether it's vitamin C, vitamin A mineral content, is never exact, because the amount of the nutrient is a function of the genetics of the plant, when it's harvested, what soil it's grown in, how much water it receives. There are many, many different variables. When we're eating food, we're eating a combination of foods. When we have a tomato, we are eating tomatoes from many different sources. So it doesn't matter if one is a 0.1 milligram difference in a nutrient, whether it's organic or not organic. But when we looked at these samples and we ran these statistical tests, there was absolutely no difference. So in terms of chemicals, I think it's important to point out that if you are using, for example, a pesticide, and organic produce uses pesticides, but there are different classes of pesticides, these are not anything that remains in your body. The EPA has very strict regulations in terms of pesticide use, something called pesticide residue. By definition, a residue is on the surface of the vegetable or fruit. So it's not anything that is in our body that causes any long-term adverse health effects. You mentioned diabetes. This has never been associated with fruit or vegetable. In fact, people with diabetes are recommended to consume a diet very high in fruits and vegetables. So we have to be very careful in the messages we're giving out.
And I think this is why Kato picked this topic and why this is important. Journalists often rely on experts to tell us these sort of things, because the public has a wide variety of points of view, and as we've learned in other equal time programs, social media drives a lot of the ideas and the opinions. Do you think social media is giving a message, Erick, to your generation and to people on social media of a clear picture of what this type of food is?
It's certainly it's part of the new upcoming generations of having a lifestyle that drives to having, like we mentioned before, eating organic can be quite expensive. I know this because I try to eat organic as much as possible, and it's definitely, I've noticed that with the people of my circle, they too try to do that. And then when you look at their perspective of what is it that they do in their lives to, like it's also incorporating a lot of exercise, a lot of making sure that they keep themselves healthy enough to not only just eat organic and say, oh, I'm eating organic, therefore I'm healthy. You have to also incorporate other things in your lifestyle for you to, to make sure that you are actually, in fact, a healthy person. No smoking, no drugs, no exercise daily or so and so. To make it, an actual thing of being healthy and not just saying, oh, organic equals healthy and then therefore I'm good.
So an overall eating
Yeah.
experience. Now, as a student on campus, Kato, do your fellow classmates think about this all the time when they are hungry, or do they just grab that pizza slice and go for it?
I think a lot of the people I know just sort of eat whatever's affordable and whatever's nearby. I mean, right now most of us are still young, so we don't really have to worry about certain things. But I'm 26, I'm a lot older than most of my classmates. And recently I've just been having, I feel like my body's falling apart. I have a lot of food allergies.
Breaking news. Why do you feel that way?
It's menopause, I tell you.
I have a lot of food allergies. I can't digest wheat, I can't digest guacamole, soy, or lactose. And so I have to severely restrict my diet, and it's just easier for me to just go the organic route, just to kind of cut out any possibility of certain things of what might be upsetting me.
I could relate to this because when I was in school, I was in school, so I couldn't really afford much organic food. And then I started, I got a job and all that stuff. And it was when I switched from regular food to organic food, my stomach began to, or my body was just different. It reacted to the organic food as different because of the lack of pesticides. So therefore, I would get stomach aches whenever, for so long that eventually after, getting used to organic, my body just, it was okay with it. Now, whenever I eat something that is not organic, I have the opposite attraction of it. Like I get body aches, my stomach's just not feeling well for, for a day or two until it's all down and digested. So I try to not buy, something that is not organic because then I know that it's going to hurt my body.
And you've been eating organic foods for most of your life?
I want to say I started doing it in 2011, 12. Yeah, 2012, yeah.
All right, so Doctor,
Well, again, these are really anecdotal comments, and I think the viewers really should understand that if somebody has a personal reaction, we have something called celiac disease. There's non-specific gluten insensitivity. It's very important that people don't self-diagnose food allergies, et cetera, and stop eating certain foods that may be healthy. In terms of having adverse reactions to a non-organic food is quite extreme in my opinion. I eat probably 8 to 10 servings of vegetables a day, every single day. I rarely eat organic food. I am extraordinarily healthy. I'm 3 times older than you, I hate to admit, but at 26 or 27, to have somebody's body falling apart, what I believe and what I see as a professor here on campus, our students have bad eating habits. They're drinking massive quantities of caffeinated beverages. It used to be carbonated soft drinks that has been replaced by the Red Bull type of energy drinks. They are not eating many fruits and vegetables. And when we look at is it organic or non-organic, to say my stomach hurts, I've never ever seen in the literature it's a relationship between pesticides and stomach aches. There is no link whatsoever, and it may be the type and kind of food, it may be the other things that you're eating at the same time. As you mentioned, lifestyle is very important, and fluid intake is absolutely critical when we're looking at digestive function. So again, I think all of us have experiences with food, but we have to be very careful. Organic food right now is the largest segment in the food market that's growing the fastest. There is great interest throughout the country, and when I go to my local Safeway, quite frankly, many of the organic produce is really comparable price to non-organic. When I go to Costco, I see aisles full of organic food I can't even get, for example, tomato paste or tomato sauce that's not organic, and it's the same cost. So I think the price differential has really changed, and it's coming into our local grocery stores. I shop at the farmer's market. most of the produce there is organic. It's comparable priced to non-organic. And I think the Americans and people throughout the world have embraced organic foods because from an environmental point of view, it is better for our planet. And our latest recommendations from the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee that came out this week says we need to be concerned about the health of our planet moving forward. We need to eat more plant-based foods, fewer animal products that use a lot of resources such as water, and we have to feed animals, of course, grains that cost a lot of energy to grow and transport. So when we look at organic, I think it's here to stay, and again, price differential is not that great anymore.
Another thing that we have to look at in journalism is organic is popular, it's well known now, it's far more well known than when we were younger, but is it a gimmick? Is it a marketing technique? Is it simply a way for certain producers to get their product to the market in a unique way with a label that will get you to buy it?
I definitely feel that is, it's very much attracting the people that are not informed. And whenever I do talk to people and friends, I tell them, get yourself informed. Do your research before you're about to vote or you're about to buy something that you are uncertain of. Because buying something without knowing what's behind it is just, it's not, might as well just do something that is not good for you. Mm-hmm. Because knowledge is what drives you to understand, why is this good to my body, how she said. And I feel like different people, if you ask them, why do you eat organic, or why is it that, you shop at places that, that are organic, like places like Whole Foods, they would say that it's according to individual experiences of, what they had with the food. I was going to say about the literature, I feel like that it's a little biased because even though, it's information that it's put out there, a lot of research in general, they completely oversee the fact that things happen to people. And it's just statistics and numbers that, that doesn't put into account that people actually have, problems when they eat something that has pesticides. Well, there's a difference
between a case study, there's a difference between a randomized controlled trial, there's a difference between correlational data, epidemiological data. Yes, you're right. But when we're looking at what Americans eat and we're making recommendations, we have to look at the weight of the evidence. And there are many studies that do show, quite frankly, that some organic produce has higher nutritional value than non-organic. But when you say how much, what is the differential, and you're saying, for example, eggplant may have a little bit more of a nutrient that's not even, eggplant's not even a good source of that nutrient, it doesn't really matter. So the point is, I think we need to simplify the message. I am totally fine with people eating organic. I have absolutely no problem with it. But Americans need to put down their sugar-sweetened beverages, stop having all that added sugar. They need to have more fruits and vegetables, which are high naturally in sweetness and sugar. And I don't care if they have organic or non-organic. We need to simplify that message in 140 character tweets. Eat more fruits and vegetables. Organic, great. Non-organic, great. And if you have a personal reason, more power to you. But we have the majority of people, unfortunately, can't, until we really normalize the prices, they can't even afford fruits and vegetables oftentimes because they're more expensive than non-fruits and vegetables.
That is something that is an issue with, not only just eating organic, it's an issue within the United States, not only that, around the world. And I've traveled here a bit, and I've noticed that this is a very Western thing to do, to go to a different country and be like, oh, that's something exotic, so therefore I'm going to eat it, or I'm going to, get into that culture. Organic eating is definitely one of those Western things that we do in this part of the hemisphere, because there are developing countries that don't, they're able to grow organic food, but at the same time, it's not available for everybody, because only the ones who have money are able to buy something from the supermarket. Most people around the world starve themselves, and organic eating is probably not the priority on their list. So therefore, food in general has to be something, whatever they can get, they will eat.
I wanted to bring Kato back into this because you've done a lot of research on this and have been developing this story. What else have you learned?
I think, well, one of the topics that Marjorie was talking about was that the biggest problem really isn't necessarily organic or non-organic, it's nutritious or non-nutritious. And I know a lot of people, like myself, I work and go to school full-time for both, so I don't have much time, but I wake up an hour early, and like this morning I cut up peppers and I made an omelet, and I do that every morning. So it's kind of hard. You need to set the time aside to really eat healthy overall. I know when I was in high school, I was homeless for about 2 or 3 years, and so I was just eating like McDonald's here and there, and then I think that's where a lot of problems came with my health, and it sort of started to go downhill, but now I'm evening out in life, and I'm eating better, and I feel a lot better because of it.
So life experiences drive a lot of the decision making. Some of it, as you said, is that energy drink that keep us going. Some of it is I'm trying to do healthy by my body. So everybody's got to, one, know themselves, make sure they talk with their doctor, make sure they understand what their physiological needs are. As we think about investing our money, we also should think about investing for our body's future.
Exactly.
Because many times we don't do that, and we're almost out of time, but I would say that's something that's very important for all of us to do. See, I got him talking now, and I'm afraid we've run out of time, but I thank you for the conversation.
No problem.
And we thank you for joining us for this edition of Equal Time.